You're right, it is. And thank you. Maybe we could shove this here a little. And could our folks who have stuff to say, could you come on up at this point? And then you guys can go and sit.
Thank you.
Yeah, in your spot.
Marilyn doesn't need to sit with that close to me. No, I did.
Actually, I was thinking we should have a special chair.
Are you going to talk up there, or how do you want to do this?
We don't give much thought to how we do it.
Yeah, I think they're going to come up here, and then we'll have her sit in a chair. So she can read the maps. We have a whole thing planned.
Is this something temporary, like temporary 60 years ago?
Yes. Yes, we are on it's very appropriate that an Eastern Star like yourself gets celebrated on the day where we celebrate the Eastern Star, who has been over this place for 60 years. So just keep coming.
All right, a little over 10 years ago, we had something on a much smaller scale. This was Marilyn's 50th anniversary as our Minister of Music. And there's a picture, I believe it's hanging downstairs, where I have the Governor's Proclamation. Howie, you might have taken the picture, and I was presenting Marilyn with a Governor's Proclamation. Well, now come 10 years forward, and here we are again, celebrating Marilyn's 60th anniversary as our Minister of Music. So this actually dates back. If you look at the pictures of the pastors that are hanging on the walls, 1959, actually we have one pastor on that side, and then every one of the pastors on, you're looking towards the back on the right side. So if you count them up, there's at least 10, maybe 11 settled pastors. But don't forget, we also have the interim pastors in between. So, you know, Marilyn has been our rock of, we could say, through the ages. Pastors have come and gone, but Marilyn has been here through it all, for all of those years. Now, as I said, 10 years ago, I had a Governor's Proclamation to present. Well, this year, we have two branches of government covered. We have something from the Governor as well as from the General Assembly. And then I was thinking, oh heck, what happened if she hangs on for 70 years? Two branches of government covered. You know, the courts, you know, the state Supreme Court, they don't do this stuff. So I figured, where am I going to go next? So, let's start with the governors. 10 years ago, I'm trying to think, who was governor back then?
Rel? You were the one who stepped up.
Joey Rel? All right, so this is from, by His Excellency, Ned Lamont, Governor. An official statement. On behalf of the state of Connecticut, I, Ned Lamont, Governor, take great pleasure in recognizing Marilyn Mattoon. This recognition is a testament to your outstanding service and commitment to your church. As a dedicated minister of music at the First Congregational Church of Plymouth for 60 years, you have demonstrated time and again your devotion to hard work and your community. Your passion, enthusiasm, and leadership are impressive, and your achievements are laudable. I applaud your many accomplishments and wish you continued success in future endeavors. Therefore, I, Ned Lamont, Governor of the state of Connecticut, do hereby convey honor and recognition upon Marilyn Mattoon in the state of Connecticut, and it's signed, and this is his actual signature, Ned Lamont. I can tell because his handwriting He needs a curse. I got to dig up a cursive handwriting book and send it to him.
Thank you.
The next one is from the General Assembly, official citation. Now, there's a little story about this one. This is official citation number 2. Citation number 1, it was beautiful. And I got down to the last sentence, and it said, "Blessings on your retirement." And I said, oh, you know what? So I had to call him back up and say, little thing, you know, you may assume after 60 years she's retired, but she's not. All right, so here we are. This is number 2. Unless you're retiring, I can go back and get number 1. State of Connecticut General Assembly official citation, introduced by Representatives Whitbats, 78th District, Senator Henry Martin, 31st District. Be it hereby known to all that the Connecticut General Assembly hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to Marilyn Mattoon in recognition of your 60th anniversary as the Minister of Music for the First Congregational Church of Plymouth. It is wonderful to know that the arts are alive and well in the town of Plymouth. You have entertained many with your delightful music over the past 60 years. We wish you many years of continued success. The entire membership extends its very best wishes on this memorial occasion, or no, wait a minute, back up, memorable occasion. Okay, memorable occasion that expresses the hope for continued success. Given this day, the 5th day of January 2020 at the state capitol, Hartford, Connecticut. And it's signed by Henry Martin and the Speaker of the House. I have 2 cards. Figure 2 citations deserves 2 cards. And I really wanted to read these cards to the congregation as well. It says, "You have been blessed by the best. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, plans to give you hope. Marilyn, may you always believe in your special gifts and share them with those around you. And may God continue to bless you with all the good things you deserve. Congratulations on your 60th anniversary as the Minister of Music. Love, your church family." And I do believe, and I'm sure we all believe, that you have been blessed with your many gifts of music for all of these many years that you have been our Minister of Music. And there's a little history in this card. Hey, I gotta explain these things. This has been augmented a little bit because the card initially had to do with a promotion. And I think, wait a minute, we're not promoting her. So I had kind of
Executive Minister of
this
Music.
a little bit here. But I felt the message was quite appropriate. Marilyn, you put your heart and soul into doing, being, and achieving everything you are passionate about. You're just amazing, simply, uniquely, fantastically amazing. Congratulations on your 60th anniversary of Minister of Music. Love, your church family. And we also have a gift for you from the church.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take it away.
So were you really surprised? I think we did it. So before
before I prepare what I said, somebody just said, remind me, if you look in the Terryville High School 1955 yearbook, I find it kind of ironic. My mother was the only female in the high school band. So that tells you how far young women have come in our society today. So if you look at the high school band now, I think there's more girls than boys actually. So anyway, 60 years, what can you say to that? People work a job nowadays for 6 years and they think it's forever. Did you know that 60 years translates to well over 2,760 Sundays worked? And that's accounting for vacation time, by the way. So that's 2,760 Sundays that weren't spent camping at the beach or enjoying other weekend pastimes. When I was a child, we would leave on vacations on Sunday after church and stop for a picnic lunch. That's what I call commitment. And that doesn't include weddings, funerals, choir rehearsals, and other special services. Do you know how many weddings you've played for? Or funerals? She'd have to look that up. It's probably documented. I read an article that estimated 60 years of playing the organist works out to about 10,000 hours of playing. You were organist before I was born. I don't remember anyone else being organist here. And I'm thinking there are very few people here that could remember who was organist before you. See? Yeah, a few of this youth choir, right? I think we've all heard the joke that you love to say that they hired you until they could find someone and then they just never looked. So I guess that's on the trustees, right? Okay. So I grew up hearing stories about how my grandfather worked so hard at fundraising so you could have the beautiful organ we have today for you to play. And I remember the fundraising to install the chimes after his death that still fill the church with joy, and I thought it was ironic you used them today. Upon his death, you insisted upon playing for his funeral, which of course led to the question when I got married. Do you want to be mom or do you want to be organist? For those of you that don't know, it was once she chose not to play. Thank goodness for Jeanette Brown. When I grew up, Thursday nights were spent at the church playing between the pews while the choir practiced. Maybe once in a while I'd get to sit next to mom and make believe I was playing on the wood next to her. Once I could read music, I got promoted to page turner, and then of course a member of the choir. As I was trying to think of what to say yesterday, I Googled organist 60 years. I mean, isn't that what we all do now when we don't know what to say or do? We Google, right? To my surprise, there were actually 4 newspaper articles from the fall of 2019 with organists that had celebrated 60 years as well this past fall. So there must have been a shortage of organists in 1959 also. So for the record, in case you want to get in touch with them, because I think it's like an elite group, you got Dot Elliott from the Pinewood Baptist Church in Columbia, South Carolina. There's Daryl Cornell from the First Baptist Church in Troy, Ohio. There's Jim Grace at the United Methodist Church in Liberty Mill, New Jersey, who also noted that organ playing seems to be a dying art. There's a shortage of organists. And I'm sure you can attest to that because I believe it was 19 calls to find substitutes for 8 Sundays. And that resulted in 3 people, I think, to cover when she had her hip replaced. But I thought Veda Jean Roof from New Bethlehem Presbyterian Church in New Bethlehem, Pennsylvania had the best advice for you. She said, I often laugh when someone complains that the organist plays too loud or the prelude was too long. So I just tell them, if I'm not doing it right, they can take my place and let me do the complaining. But I do want you to know that you're not done. Like Tom said, it's not a retirement. I'm a big person on goal setting, you know that, so I've helped set your next goal. So Walter Miklas from the Zion Lutheran Church in Clark, New Jersey just retired this fall after 74 years. So it looks like we have more celebrations to come. Congratulations and much love.
When I thought about choir and Marilyn this morning, 2 words popped into my mind. The first word was patience. Now, I am 70 years old, and choir has been an important part of my growing up experience in this church. I remember rehearsals on Thursday nights and hearing music that I absolutely loved. When we started an anthem, it didn't always sound wonderful, but with patience, Marilyns, and maybe some reworking of the notes and rests, again, Marilyns, by the time we performed it, it sounded the way it should. And I have always felt that the music we sang here was just as an important part of the service as were all the hymns we sang, the prayers we said, and even the sermons that we heard. The other word I thought of was fun. It was fun to learn the music and feel a part of the worship time in this church. And I recall, before the choir was remodeled, the choir was like in a straight line. And I frequently stood at the end of the soprano line, and Sebastio was on my left. And as the alto line began, Sheila Strieber was on my right. We laughed a lot. I can remember holding my music up over my mouth so Marilyn wouldn't know we were laughing, but somehow I think she always knew. And one more thing. I think God hears music above any words we might say, or even before our thoughts come together. And I know over the years, God has certainly heard a lot of love and faith from this house of worship, thanks to this lady. So thank you, Marilyn, for so much.
So when Tom asked me if those of us who were in the choir would like to speak something for Marilyn, I thought, yeah, I know a couple of us that are still there from when we were 10, were we 10 when we joined the choir. And I thought, oh, it would be nice if we all said something. My memories of choir, Thursday nights, 6:30 here. You didn't drink milk that night because then you'd get phlegm in your throat and you couldn't sing well. So. And if 8:15 rolled around and I wasn't home, if I was standing out there talking, my mother's head would come up the sidewalk out here looking for us and get home, because you weren't allowed to hang around. But I remember making candles at Marilyn's house when she lived on South Street. I remember making wreaths and going up to Jim Kelly's and picking the princess pine and the running pine and making those into wreaths. Strawberry festivals that we had, and they were all like fundraisers because we were like an organization. We had president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, so she taught us some responsibility as well. I remember trips to New York, to Radio City Music Hall, taking the train in, or the bus ride. We'd stop for meals, and it wasn't until I was an adult and trying to plan trips with my kids as to, holy cow, there was a lot of planning as she did trying to go into us in Corral. I think when I was talking to her the other day, she said there were 35 of us, youth members of, whoa, that's going somewhere. Of youth choir. That's a lot of kids. That's a lot of patience that Ellen talked about. I remember caroling, that we would get together and go from place to place. I remember Terry Goodwin going and singing with him when he had his cast. And she'd have her little pitch pipe there with, is that what's called, pitch pipe? With her, then she'd blow into us to get us on the right note to start with. And then we'd come back here for hot chocolate, and I don't remember if there was food or not, I can't quite, it probably was, but I don't remember that part. We had, as a youth choir, we had two state-owned people on either side. We had Helen Booth was the adult alto, and Ruth Schwanka was the adult soprano, and you'd get that on your shoulder if you were giggling or talking or doing something over there. But a lot of wonderful, wonderful memories of growing up and being in this church. And always remember that French twist she'd have in the back of her hair that she wore there. I always thought, I'd like to wear my hair that way sometime. It never happened, so I did that. But thank you for wonderful memories and wonderful times.
The great thing about living in a house that was your grandparents and your parents, and now yours, we have everything. So I was 8 when Marilyn began her temporary organist ministry here. I was 9, I thought, when I joined the choir, and I had to make a choice. Rehearsals were every Thursday night, and so was 4-H club cooking. I chose the choir. I'm not sure my family, if they realized what I could have learned, was so pleased by that. But anyway, Betty Claire, as I recall, was our first choir director, and we sing up there sometimes, and she said, well, we won't go there, but anyway. And then I don't remember when Marilyn took over the entire job, and what a job it was. Marilyn gave each one, I have all these numbers. I don't write as neatly as Marilyn. Marilyn directed our youth choir, and which kept growing and growing, and I know that by 1965 there were 35 of us. She took us one and all. We didn't audition, and that hymn today made me think. She made us feel as if we were all worthy. Marilyn gave each one of us children a very special gift, the opportunity to be a part of something so much bigger than we were by ourselves. We were a family of praise, songs, and friendship in this historic house of God. She gave our parents and the whole congregation the delight of having their children sing every Sunday for them. And it is a delight when our Sunday school kids sing for us. And never thought about that until just yesterday. That must have been a delight most of the time for our parents, to hear us sing every Sunday. And then the patience and organization that it would require to direct a youth choir of very talkative, silly young people was unbelievable and rather miraculous. I do know a little something about managing groups of children, and it's always a blessing, but a challenge to get them to do the thing you want them to do all at the same time. There are so many little things that Marilyn does, like changing the accompaniment to accommodate the things we can't sing. And and you know, I'm always amazed at watching her play the organ. I play a piano, and the organ is just beyond me. That's probably why, beyond so many of us. Her hands are moving across 2 keyboards and all those stops. Her feet are moving, and her head is moving, directing us, and making us come in when we're supposed to, and stop when we're supposed to, and then turning pages too. It's just, I can't walk and chew too well, and she can do all that at one time. And I'm proud to say that our youth choir helped raise money for this new pipe organ. By performing 2 songspiration extravaganzas, and here is the proof that we did this. And inside here, I do have the names of every single child that was in the choir at that time, which is pretty cool. And I wanted to give you an idea of the scope of this. Here's some stats. First, in 1965, there were 35 choir members who sang in that songspiration. We did 18 selections, which included a Christmas medley, a medley from The Sound of Music, and a medley from Mary Poppins. And then the bell choir of the Naugatuck Congregational Church performed along with us. In 1967, there were 24 songs, which also included a trumpet played by Michael Butler, and his brother Mitch played the saxophone, and Marilyn and Linda Giuliani did a piano organ duet. And then she had us stand like this and process some of the time. The organization to get kids to do that is beyond me. But I do want to play some of that song Inspiration. Hopefully that record player is loud enough. You're going to hear the Reverend Dwight Giuliani introducing it. You're going to hear my high school Sunday school teacher and Marilyn's dad say a few words, Mattoon, and then the song she wrote for us, Song Inspiration. That's because it's side 2. Sorry, it was too loud.